Today is February 28th, and this is my garden right now. Everything's inside, but in the next few weeks, I'm going to be putting some stuff out under some cold frames, and some of the stuff will keep growing by late March, about April 1st. Most of this will be outside. Well, this is cilantro, and back here I have parsley. I'm just growing this indoors for myself. I mean, I suppose at some point I could move it outside. Here I have a ton of broccoli and cauliflower plants. Some of these are getting to the point where I need to pot them up because they're probably getting a little bit root bound. Back there I have some basil. Basil is a warm weather herb. It can't handle a frost, and our last frost around here usually, well, technically, it's traditionally around the end of April, but the last couple of years, we haven't had many frosts at all in April, but I have to be careful anyway. So I'm just growing that for indoor use. Here, I have celery, and here I have a bunch of, these are a little bit dry, I need to water these. These are all spinach plants. Again, I need to get those outside. Here are lettuce. I just started a few days ago, 24th, so it took 4 days for those to come up. Down here in my basement, it's around 60 degrees, so the plants, these cool weather crops, they love this 60-degree temperature down here. And these grow lights, they like as well. Looks like just all of them germinated. This one, it is germinating, so yeah, it looks like it's coming. At least most of them are. Yeah, it's coming. I just sprinkled about 8 to 10 seeds in each cell. And whenever these get, an inch high or so, that'll probably be about late March. I'll put these outside early April. All of these plants are technically frost tolerant, but when they're small like this, they're not as frost tolerant. That would be more for like the full-grown plants. So, and I have to harden these off as well, which is that process of taking them out and exposing to them to the sunlight, like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours per day. It takes about a week to get them used to the sunlight, although we haven't had much sunlight in the last week or so because we're starting to get in some cold February weather. We actually have snow outside right now. These are red Russian kale. Another basil plant. Again, just growing this for my own inside use. These are leeks and shallots I'm growing from seed. I do have shallots that I planted last fall as bulbs, and they're actually starting to come up outside. But you can also grow them from seed. So what would happen is you would grow them as seed, and then when they produce a bulb later in the summer, you would harvest that. And then you could take that bulb and plant it in the ground in the fall, and then the following spring, it'll germinate, and it'll come and create several bulbs. They grow in clusters. These are dwarf tomato plants. This is not full grown, but they only get about 12 to 14 inches tall, and they'll produce cherry tomatoes. So this is the pot I have them in now. Just potted these up about a week ago, and then I'll pot them up into like a 10-inch pot, like a gallon container. And I'm going to be growing these just indoor, outdoor. So what I'll do, because they can't handle a frost, so what I'll do is take them outside during the day, and then if there's going to be a frost that night, I'll bring them inside, and then the next morning bring them out, and so on and so forth, until the frosts are gone. My other tomatoes, the outdoor tomatoes, I won't be planting those, sowing those seeds until about mid-March. I have a bunch of kale plants. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. This is kohlrabi. Some more spinach plants. This is a big cauliflower plant. Tons of parsley. I decided this year to grow the curly parsley as well as the flat leaf. These are plants I'm going to be putting outside when, as soon as I get a chance. This is cilantro, more curly parsley, probably extras. I'll probably have to give some of these away. And these are my original big broccoli and cauliflower plants that I had trouble germinating and I had to replant a little bit. So these, these obviously need to get outside at some point. But I need to start hardening them off. Again, it's tomorrow will be March 1st. And hopefully by mid-March, third week in March, I'll have them actually planted in the ground. And I'll probably have those under the cold frames. Well, we'll see. So you have to kind of look for the weather forecast, because they are frost tolerant, but they can't handle a harsh frost. So they can handle like 31, 30 degrees, but if it goes down to like 20 degrees, that'll kill them. So you'd have to protect them, or you'd actually be in real trouble if it went that cold once you planted them. But usually we don't get weather that cold by late March, early April. Here, these are storage, the Patterson onions that I grew last year. If you saw my videos last year, doing really well. You want them to, let's see here on the ground. You want them to get to be about this to be about the width of a pencil by the time you plant them out. You can see what you do is you trim them, and then what they do is they put a shoot out every couple of weeks. They'll put out a new shoot from the inside of the plant, and they keep doing that, and that actually is what forms the rings in the onion. Here I have more of the Patterson onions. What happened was when I seeded these, I put like 2 or 3 in, and then when I had extras, I pulled those out, and then I put them back into other cells. And so these over here are ones that I transplanted from this group over here. These are the Walla Walla sweet onions. They get huge, but they only will store for like a couple of months. When you go to the grocery store and you buy an onion, if it has a very pale sort of papery type covering over it, that's usually a sweet onion, or an onion that doesn't store very well. If you buy an onion that has that hard sort of copper colored shell on the outside, those are the type that will store for quite a while. These Patterson onions are a hybrid, and they have been bred to store for a long time. And I still have Patterson onions. It's March 1st. I still have some that I harvested around the 4th of July last summer, and they're still good. I mean, they're getting to the point I probably should use them up, but that you can see that's like 8-9 months that they'll store. So yeah, so that's the state of my garden right now, my indoor garden. There's not much going on outside except for some bulbs coming up. I have some garlic coming up, some shallots coming up. But yeah, we get into March, and I have my cold frames up. I'm going to be planting all sorts of stuff. Radishes, carrots, into the ground in those cold frames. So yeah, so that's the state of my garden, and hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.